Cinderella. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful and kind young woman who came unfortunately to lose her mother. Her father remarried a shrewish and conceited woman with 2 daughters of her own, Anastasia and Javot. Both girls were as spiteful as their mother. They all treated Cinderella as if she were a housemaid and made her accomplish all the hard work, clean the floor, wash up the dishes, and do the laundry. At the end of the day, totally exhausted, she used to go and sit by the chimney, near the cinders. That is why the 2 sisters called her Cinderella. One day, the king's herald came to the house. He was traveling all over the kingdom to invite young girls to the royal ball. For the prince wanted to choose a bride among the guests. The news brought great excitement all over the house. Cinderella's stepmother and her 2 daughters wondered about the outfit to choose for the occasion. "What dress shall I wear?" asked Javot with anxiety. "And I, which shoes shall I put? These or those?" said Anastasia. "Which necklace will I adorn myself with?" added the stepmother. The good-hearted Cinderella helped her sisters to dress and do their hair. She knew that her stepmother didn't want her to go to the ball, and anyway, she hadn't any beautiful or decent dress to wear. Time came to leave for the ball. Cinderella sadly watched her sisters and stepmother walk away. Then she went to sit on a bench and started crying her heart out. "Well, well, what is going on, my little one?" said a kind voice suddenly. Startled, Cinderella saw before her a lady holding a fine wand. It was her fairy friend. Still crying, she explained that she really wanted to accompany her sisters to the ball. "Stop weeping, child. We will settle things out," said the good fairy. She asked Cinderella to go to the garden and bring a big pumpkin, some mice, a rat, and 2 lizards. The young girl accomplished the mission without understanding the meaning of all this. Then the fairy waved her magic wand and turned the pumpkin into a dazzling coach, the mice into magnificent white horses, the rat into a coachman, and finally the lizards into footmen. Cinderella was filled with wonder. She said, "How wonderful this is! But I can't go to the ball dressed like this, in tatters." "Don't worry," said the fairy. In a twinkling, the old clothes disappeared to be replaced by a sumptuous new dress. Then she put on her feet beautiful slippers made of vair, the most delicate fur ever. "Be careful," said the fairy. "Magic will disappear when the clock strikes midnight. You should leave before that time." "I promise," said Cinderella. She thanked the good fairy and left the house. When she arrived to the castle and came into the ballroom, she caught everyone's attention. No one knew who she was. Whispers spread everywhere. "Who can she be? What a beauty! She's so graceful. Where does she come from?" Even her sisters didn't recognize her. As for the prince, he was filled with wonder. Cinderella was the most beautiful girl of the ball. The prince invited Cinderella to the first dance and to the second. Finally, they spent the whole evening dancing together. Cinderella was enjoying herself so much that she forgot about the time. Suddenly, she heard the clock chiming the first strike of midnight. Remembering the fairy's recommendations, she mumbled an excuse to the prince and ran away. In her haste, Cinderella lost one of her vair slippers on the stairs. Surprised, the prince didn't even have time to make a move and catch her up. "Hurry, hurry, straight to the house," shouted Cinderella to the coachman. She got home just in time when the clock chimed midnight at the very same moment as the spell was vanishing. The pumpkin, the mice, the rat, the lizards regained their initial appearance. Cinderella's dress became rags again. The prince wondered why his partner left in a hurry. Losing all interest in the ball, he went out and sat on a stair, feeling very sad. At this very moment, he noticed the vair slipper Cinderella had left behind her. He picked it up and said to himself, "This will help me find her back." Because he really fell in love with the young woman, He gave orders to his men to go search for the girl who owned the lost slipper. All the young girls of the kingdom tried the Ver slipper, but no one's foot was small enough to fit into it. One day, the prince's herald came to Cinderella's house. Javert and Anastasia hurried to put the slipper on. They both tried very hard, but in vain. Their feet were either too large or too big. Just then, Cinderella came in. "May I try it too?" she asked. Her sisters sniggered at her, saying out loud, "But she wasn't even present at the ball." The herald replied, "My orders are that every girl in the kingdom, without any exception, should try the slipper on." Cinderella put it, and, of course, it fitted perfectly well. At this very moment, the good fairy reappeared. With her magic wand, she transformed again Cinderella's tatters into a splendid dress. Stunned, Anastasia and Javert recognized the girl who was at the ball. They implored their sister's forgiveness, which she granted them immediately. Afterwards, the herald took Cinderella to the palace. A few days later, a sumptuous ceremony was given to celebrate Cinderella's wedding with her prince.